Okay, now with the scanner connected and on, let's talk more about the two software we include with this hardware. The first one is Vertex, and the second one is Vertex Pro. Okay, Vertex is the basic solution, so to be used more by beginners or users without advanced needs. The second one, Vertex Pro, is the same one we include in our professional line, scanner line, and it's a software with which provides a deeper control of the workflow with more possibilities for more expert users. What happens usually is that the user starts without experience from the basic version, and then the day he has enough experience, he switches to the advanced one. Or sometimes it also happens inside the same company, there are different users at different levels. So maybe one prefers to use the basic, the other one prefers to use the pro version. Okay, anyway, both software gives all is needed to run the scanner in all the scanning sessions. I mean, collecting point clouds, aligning different point clouds, cleaning point clouds, optimizing the point clouds, and then translate the point clouds into triangle meshes, and also editing of the triangle meshes, and of course, exportation of the final triangle mesh. Okay, you can do that with both, and also both software includes everything is needed to prepare the scanner, to calibrate the scanner and prepare it to be used. Okay. The calibration of the scanner is an important phase. Okay, we always calibrate the scanner every time we run a trip with it. So the first step before using the scanner after the first installation is the calibration of the scanner. Okay, it is the phase where we define all the scanning parameters. So it is a phase to be done. It is an important phase. So a good calibration means then to scan in a good way. A bad calibration on the other side means to then scan with bad parameters to produce bad scans. Okay. So let's first see what happens inside Vertex, and then we will see the same phase inside Vertex Pro. Okay, so let's start Vertex. This is the first interface we see for the software. Okay, here we go to the service. The interface is very easy. Here you quit the software, here you create a new job, here you load an existing job, and here you enter the service page where you can specify, define some variables or run the calibration. Okay. About the variables, yes, we define where to save the projects. Okay, we always suggest to specify a local folder, so not on a remote computer. Okay, because the saving time then depends on the network timing, and it can be a problem. Okay, we decide if we want to autosave, and if we want to do that, we can specify the time period between each autosave. Okay, and if we want to save in an automatic way at every step, we type 0 here, and what then we can define is the language of the interface. For sure, first time you enter the software, you get a license request. This means that the software goes directly in this page, okay, asking for the license activation. So it asks you to specify a few parameters, so your name, your surname, your company data, your email address, and then the automatic activation button appears, and you can run the automatic activation directly in this way. In a few moments, in a few minutes, in this way, you see the software activated. If it doesn't work, and it doesn't work for two reasons. First reason, you have installed on your computer some firewall blocking the connection between our software and the remote server. Second reason, this is a service provided by a supplier of us, so not directly managed by us, and sometimes they have issues, and when they have issues, the connection is not available. Okay, if we are in one of the two situations I have described, you also anyway can do the manual activation, which means that you have to copy through the button here on the right the registration ID, send it to us through an email, and we'll reply back with the code to be copied here and then applied, clicking on the apply license code, and then the license will be on in the same way. Okay, so at the beginning, first time you start the application, for sure the license is off, so it is needed to register to start to activate the license. If the automatic activation doesn't work, please forward us an email with this code inside, and then we'll reply you with the string to be copied here, and then you will have to click on the apply license code and the software will be enabled. And the license is always time unlimited, so you will never need to do the same another time. Okay, so yes, a few options, a few very easy options, and the license is what you see if you enter the edit options button under the service page. Okay, so here I come back to the welcome screen. Here I enter the options, and here I run the calibration. Here with this software, the calibration is very, very easy. Okay, calibrate scanner. It doesn't ask me nothing unless to before running the calibration, I have to place the calibration plate on my table, on my rotary table. It's a magnetic plate, okay, with only one position, only one possible position, so you cannot make mistakes, okay. Here you have only to check, let's say, the quantity of the projected light. It is something that you have to do also when you scan, so to avoid to see too much light or a situation too dark. But usually the scanner is set by us with the required exposure. So just check that you can see if you also zoom this image, you make the image is bigger. Just check that you see in a clear way all the circles, and this line comes from the projector. Okay, it has to be in a good focus condition. Below the projector, close to the lens of the same, you have a slider. If you move that slider, you see the focus of this line changing. Okay, this focus condition is not required during the calibration. It is something you need to take care during the scanning phase. Sometimes it happens, for example, when you leave the scanner for a long period unused, or for example, at the end of the day, on Friday, you turn off the scanner, then you come back on Monday. During the winter, the temperature of the room changes a lot. The same during the summer, because you turn off the fresh air system. And so because of the change of the temperature, the plastic lens of the projector can have some small deformation, but the small deformations are enough for changing the focus condition of the projector. It takes 2 seconds by hand, moving the slider. You place back, you come back to the situation where the dark line is good enough. Okay. Anyway, if you don't scan with the good focus, in a good focus condition, you can understand it also because you see a lot of noise on the scanners. But this is not what we need to do for the calibration. For the calibration, just check that you have you see the circles in a condition like this one, without too much light. So not in this situation, the black has to be black, the white has to be white. So not in this condition, and not in this one. Okay, here the black is black, the white is gray. No good. Here on the other side, the white is white, but the black is gray. Not good. And again, the good situation is this one. Okay. We have the possibility to change the quantity of the projected light and the exposure time of the cameras to adapt then when we scan something to the different colors of the object. I mean, if I scan a bright object, I decrease the quantity of the projected light. If I scan a dark object, I increase the quantity of the light. And if it is needed, I also increase the exposure time of the cameras in order to acquire more light and so acquire also the dark surface. Okay, so calibration means to place the plate and then click calibrate. Below the plate, you always have a label with the serial number, because we measure through a measuring machine all the plates, and we give with the plate an XML file, including all the centers, the positions of all the centers of the circles of the plate. In this version of the software, you don't care about that number, okay, because the description file for the calibration plate is already loaded inside the memory we have on this inside the scanner, so you don't need to take care about that. Okay, so now the software is calibrating alone. We are doing nothing. We just left the calibration plate on the rotary stage, and the software is doing everything alone. Of course, if I start the calibration without the calibration plate, it comes out with an error. Okay, calibration done. It says calibration is completed and successfully completed, because we saw a green flag. In case something went wrong, the flag has to be red. Okay, with an error message. Then it asks for the cube. This calibration, the one we did with the calibration, with this calibration plate, is for calibrating the two cameras. Okay, now the two cameras are calibrated. Now we calibrate the rotary stage, the two axes of the rotary stage, in order to give the software the possibility to align, register in an automatic way the different single point cloud we are going to acquire every time we acquire an object. So for this reason, we mount the cube. The software is requiring to mount the cube. Okay, again, we check to have the correct light. So dark is dark, white is white. Okay, and then we go ahead. Now the rotary stage is moving, and the software is acquiring the cube in different positions. Okay, we did the calibration of the rotary axis. Now we are calibrating the tilting axis. Okay, again, green flag, calibration completed in a good way. So we go next. Okay, calibration is done now, and we are updating, the software is updating the internal memory. So if now I move the scanner from this PC to another, I can download the calibration. I don't need to calibrate the scanner again. So every time I want, I can go here and click on calibrate. Okay, add calibration means that I have to use the dark plate for calibrating the cameras. manipulator calibration means that I have to use the cube for calibrating the rotary stage, the two axes of the rotary stage. Okay, if I do the calibration of the cameras, so if I do the first one, this one with the black plate, then I have to do, I must do also the calibration of the rotary stage through the cube. If for some reasons I want to only do the calibration of the rotary stage, I can do, using the old camera calibration, I can do that and it works, okay? But if I calibrate the cameras, then I have to calibrate also the rotary stage. But anyway, let's make everything easy. Of course, after a trip, you have to calibrate, and when you calibrate, you have to calibrate both the cameras. So you click here, you go with the black plate, and you calibrate the cameras, and then you calibrate the axis through the cube, and then one time per month you can redo the same. Okay, for being sure that you are using the scanner in a good calibration condition. And when you click next, then we update the memory and the calibration is saved. So in this way, we have prepared the scanner to be used with Vertex. We can come back and we can exit the software. Vertex then is coming also with a toolbox where you can run a deeper calibration. You can find it here inside the installation folder. It is called Optor Toolbox because it is shared with other products developed by us. Okay. If you launch this software, if you start this software, you can run a deeper calibration, having also some feedback about how good is the final calibration. But yes, I would say this is something we can do if it is needed through a remote connection, not something that can be done by the user. Anyway, this is the toolbox. You connect to the scanner. Here you see that you have different options. In order to calibrate, you click on calibration. Okay. Here, first time you do the calibration, you have to load the master XML. I told you each master has a label behind. Inside the memory where you found the installers of the software, you also have the XML file. This XML file, this number is the one written on the label behind the table. So first time you load the master XML. If you don't load, the head calibration is ready, you can go ahead. So the first time you have to load the master XML description file, but it is again stored inside the memory provided with the scanner, where you can find the installers, the same memory where the license, the software license is, and it comes with the name, with inside the name, the serial number printed behind the plate. So when the calibration plate is loaded, you click on Add Calibration. It does in an automatic way exactly what we saw a few minutes ago inside the other software. But this time, at the end of the process, we can see also some additional information, not only calibration did in a good way. Okay. Because at the end of the calibration, the software is calculating again the centers of the circles and comparing them with the centers we gave into the description file measured by the high accuracy measuring machine. And so it is displaying the resulting errors, okay, in order to evaluate if we did a good or not so good calibration. Okay, so here we see the triangulation error X, Y, and Z. Okay, they are microns. Okay, for each image you have the average error in the three directions, in the three dimensions. For each image, you can see the distribution of the error, okay, of the triangulation error. I mean the error defined by the difference between the calculated center and the center provided into the XML file measured coming from the measuring machine. So when the calibration is good, like in this one, you have to see that you have to read as triangulation errors numbers like the numbers you see here, and if you click on the different images, you have to see blue and green circles. Sometimes you see red circles. Okay, we can accept a few red circles, not too many. Okay, so when there are 3, 4 for each image, we are in a good situation. Okay, but again, here we have 4 microns of average error on the X direction, 5 microns on the Y direction, and 5 microns on the Z direction. Here we have calibrated the cameras, and we can see the same also for what we call the bint head, because this scanner can be used with 2 resolutions. The parameters we saw were about the full resolution. We have the same parameters for the for the half resolution, where we use the cameras with a lower resolution. Okay, so this is just to explain that we can have an interface where we can read more about the quality of the calibration. But this is more a service software used by us when we connect and we want to be sure that everything works in a good way, not a software to be used by the clients. Okay, as the same I did in the other software I have to do now. So I have calibrated the 2 cameras using the black plate. Now I place the cube and I calibrate the 2 joints. So I follow the same process, but talking about the camera calibrations, I can see more numbers. But again, they are numbers good for us, not to be evaluated by the clients. So numbers needed when we connect, because we get an email asking for a connection, for problems, and we want to check that everything works well. Okay, so it was just to show that this Vertex is coming as a basic software without parameters, with a very, very easy workflow. But behind there is a toolbox where we can see more in case of need. Okay, this is everything about the Vertex. So let's go now to the next session, where we talk about Vertex Pro.